Good morning, students. Today in geography, we are going to learn lesson number 1, resources and development. Before I begin, I want you all to take out your books and pen so that you can jot down some important points. Let's begin. Students, what do you mean by resources? Yes, you are right. Everything available in our environment that can be used to satisfy our needs, which is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resource. Now let us try to understand this. Everything available in our environment, okay, it may be water, sunlight, minerals, etc., okay, which can be used to satisfy our needs, which is technologically accessible. Technologically accessible means technology used for extracting resources must be available, isn't it? So that we can make proper use of it. And what is economically feasible? Economically feasible means we must have enough money to extract it and use it. Okay. And culturally acceptable means the people in the society must accept it. Okay. So everything available in our environment that can be used to satisfy our needs, which is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resource. I hope it is clear, students. Now, human beings themselves are essential components of resources, isn't it, students? We human beings, okay, are the essential components of resources. How come? Let us see. With the help of technology and institutions, we can take example of industries, okay. With the help of technology and institutions, they means human beings, okay, transform materials available in the nature into economically useful resources. So it is the human beings who transform materials available in the nature with the help of technology and institutions into economically useful resources. Okay. Now here we are going to see the interdependent relationship between nature, technology and institutions. Okay. Human beings interact with nature through technology and create institutions to accelerate their economic development. Okay, so just have a look at this diagram. Here you can see the interdependent relationship between nature, technology and institutions. Okay, and it is the human beings who interact with nature through technology, okay, and create institutions to accelerate their economic development. I hope it is clear, students. Now let us learn about the types of resources. Classification of resources. Okay, classification of resources done on the basis of origin, on the basis of exhaustibility, on the basis of ownership, and on the basis of status of development. Now on the basis of origin, the resources are classified into two: biotic resources and abiotic resources. On the basis of exhaustibility, we have renewable resources and non-renewable resources. On the basis of ownership, we have individual resources, community resources, national resources, and international resources. And on the basis of status of development, we have potential resources, developed resources, stock resources, and reserves resources. Okay, students. Now let us learn more about it. On the basis of origin, we have biotic resources and abiotic resources, right? Let us learn more about biotic and abiotic resources now. Biotic resources. These resources are obtained from biosphere, okay, and have life. So all living things come under biotic resources. For example, human beings, livestock, flora and fauna, fisheries, etc. And what about abiotic resources? Yes, these resources are composed of non-living things. For example, rocks and metals. Okay, students, so abiotic resources comprises of all the non-living things. Okay, so in short, we can say living things come under biotic resources and all the non-living things come under abiotic resources. Is that clear, students? Now let us learn about on the basis of exhaustibility. On the basis of exhaustibility, resources are classified into two: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Okay, so first let us learn about the renewable resources. The resources which can be renewed or reproduced by applying physical, chemical, or mechanical process are known as renewable or replenishable resources. So the resources which can be renewed, okay, they can be used again and again. For example, solar energy, wind energy, forest, water, wildlife, etc. These all come under renewable resources. And what about non-renewable resources? These resources are formed through long geological time period, okay, and cannot be renewed easily. Okay, so non-renewable resources, they cannot be renewed. Okay, example, minerals, metals, fossil fuels. Once we use them, so they get depleted, right? They get exhausted. Some of the resources like metals are recyclable, isn't it, students? Some of the metals we can recycle, and some like fossil fuels cannot be recycled and get exhausted with their use, isn't it? Once you use them, it gets depleted, it gets exhausted, right? So on the basis of exhaustibility, we have seen renewable resources which can be renewed and non-renewable resources which cannot be renewed. I hope it is clear, students. Now let us learn the resources on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, we have individual resources, community owned resources, national resources, and international resources. Individual resources. These resources are owned privately by individuals. For example, your mobile phone, it belongs to you, right? Your friend can't claim the ownership of that mobile phone, right? Because it belongs to you. So individual resources are the resources which are owned privately by individuals. Okay. For example, plantation, pasture land, farmland, water in wells, okay, your house, etc. And what about community owned resources? These resources are equally accessible to all the members of the community. For example, public parks. Okay, you can't go over there and claim that that public park will be used only by you. Okay, you can't say. Why? Because it belongs to everyone. All the members of the community have equal rights to use it, right? So community owned resources are the resources which are equally accessible to all the members of the community. For example, grazing grounds, burial grounds, ponds in village, public parks, picnic spots, etc. I hope it is clear, students. Now let us learn about national resources. These resources are under the control of nation or country. Okay, it belongs to the nation. Example, canal, railways, roads, minerals, forest, wildlife, land. Within the political boundaries, okay, of a country, it belongs to the nation. These resources belong to the nation. Okay, and the resources which are there in the oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles. Okay, if you convert this 12 nautical miles, you will get 22.2 kilometer. If you want this in kilometer, it is 22.2 kilometer. So all the resources in the oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles from the coast of the country, which is also called as territorial water, and all the resources in it belongs to the nation. Okay, international resources. There are international institutions which regulate some resources. Okay, the oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zone belongs to open ocean. Okay, and no individual country can claim the ownership of the resources in it, or no individual country can utilize these resources without the permission of international institutions. If they want to use, they need to take the permission of international institutions. Okay, students. India has the right to mine manganese nodules from Indian Ocean, from that area which lies beyond the exclusive zone. So our country has got the right to mine manganese nodules from Indian Ocean, from that area which lies beyond the exclusive zone. Now how come this is possible? Let me tell you. Our country, through an agreement, okay, with the International Seabed Authority, has got a right to explore and mine these manganese nodules from the Indian Ocean. Okay, students. Now, on the basis of the status of development, we have potential resources, developed resources, stock resources, and reserves resources. So, let us learn more about this. Potential resources. Resources which are found in a region. Okay, resources are there. We have found it. But have not been utilized. They are not utilized. For example, Rajasthan and Gujarat. We have enormous potential for the development of wind and solar energy, isn't it? But right now, it has not been utilized. So, what do you mean by potential resources? Resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized. Okay. Developed resources. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. The development of resources depends on technology and level of feasibility. So these resources which are surveyed, their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. Okay. The development of these resources depends on technology and level of feasibility. And these resources, we are using them. Okay. For example, coal, petroleum, etc. Developed resources are the resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. Okay, students, and we are using it at present. Now, let us learn about stock. Materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs. But human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access these. Okay, and these are included among stock. So, what do you understand by this? Yes, the materials or the resources in the environment which have the potential, okay, capability to satisfy human needs, but we do not have the proper technology to use this. Okay, students. So, these resources come under stock. So, I hope you have understood stock resources. Here, one example is given. Water is a compound of two inflammable gases, right? Hydrogen and oxygen, which can be used as a rich source of energy. But what's the problem? Yes, we do not have the required technical know-how. That is, we do not have proper technology to use them for this purpose. Hence, it can be considered as stock. So, students, I hope it is clear. The reserves. These are subset of stock which can be put into use with the help of existing technical know-how, but their use has not been started. So, what do you mean by reserves? Yes, these are subset of stock. You can use it with the help of existing technology, but their use has not been started. Why? Because these can be used for meeting future requirements. For example, river water. River water can be used for generating hydroelectric power, but presently it is being utilized only to a limited extent. Isn't it, students? Only to a limited extent we are using it. Thus, the water in the dams, then forests, etc., is a reserve which can be used in the future. So, once again, what do you mean by reserves? Reserves are subset of stock which can be put into use with the help of existing technical know-how, but their use has not been started, and these can be used for meeting future requirements. Okay, students, we have taken the example of river water. Now, students, I hope whatever we have learnt, you have understood. Now it's time for quiz. Let's begin. Materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access them are called. Option A, potential resource. Option B, stock. Option C, developed resource. Option D, reserves. Yes, students, which is the correct answer? Yes, you are right. It's option B, stock. Okay. Next question. India's territorial water extends up to a distance of option A 12 km, option B 12 nautical miles, option C 19.2 miles, option D 200 nautical miles. Yes, which is the correct answer? Yes, you are right. Option B 12 nautical miles. Okay. India's territorial water extends up to a distance of 12 nautical miles. Very good. What are developed resources? Option A. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. Option B. Resources which can be renewed or reproduced. Option C. Those things which are composed of non-living things. Option D, resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized. Yes, which is the correct answer? Yes, you are right. Option A, resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. Very good. Next question. Which of these are resources based on ownership? Option A, individual resources. Option B, abiotic resources. Option C, renewable resources. Option D, non-renewable resources. Yes, student. Which is the correct answer? Yes, you are right. It's option A, individual resources. Okay. Next question. How can the resources be classified on the basis of their origin? Option A, biotic and abiotic resources. Option B, renewable and non-renewable resources. Option C, individual and community resources. Option D, potential and reserves resources. Yes, students, which is the correct answer? Yes, you are right. It's option A, biotic and abiotic resources. Which one of the following is not the community owned resource? Okay. Option A, grazing grounds. Option B, burial grounds. Option C, village ponds. Option D, privately owned house. Yes, which is the correct answer? Yes, you are right. It's option D, privately owned house. Privately owned house is not the community owned resource. Okay. It is individual resource. Next question. Which one of the following is a biotic resource? Option A, land. Option B, water. Option C, human beings. Option D, rocks. Yes, students? Yes, you are right. It's correct. Option C is correct. Human beings. Next question. Which one of the following is not a renewable resource? Okay. Option A, solar energy. Option B, wind energy. Option C, forest. Option D, fossil fuels. Yes, students, which is the correct answer? Yes, you are right. Option D is correct. Fossil fuels. Okay. Fossil fuels is not a renewable resource. Okay. Now, students, let us do a short recap. Today we have learnt about resources, classification of resources, right? On the basis of origin, on the basis of exhaustibility, on the basis of ownership, and on the basis of status of development. On the basis of origin, we have learnt about biotic and abiotic resources. On the basis of exhaustibility, we have learnt about renewable and non-renewable resources. On the basis of ownership, we have learnt about individual resources, community resources, national resources and international resources. And on the basis of status of development, we have learnt about potential resources, developed resources, stock resources and reserves resources. Hope it is clear, students. So the remaining topics we will cover in our next video. Till then, bye and take care.